It being 10 after 7, we will call this Facilities Committee meeting on March 28th, 2022 to order. Can I get an approval of the February 28th meeting minutes?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So now we will move on to old business. I'll start off with our Giza update.
Okay, we're in a little bit of a lull with the Giza project. We are planning for some significant activity over spring break.
Good.
So spring break's supposed to be the ridge cap that we're going to place on
Marlborough.
Marlborough's second floor roof.
Good.
There's a number of controls-related efforts that are happening in the high school. So that's probably the next flurry of activity. We just received all of the closeout materials for Phase 1A.
Oh, wow.
Essentially all of the equipment cut sheets and operations and maintenance plans. It was 2,000 pages.
Wow.
So I asked them for 3 hard copies. No.
Yeah.
But I do have to somehow come up with a method to have it accessible to my staff. So whether it's, CD or flash drive or however we, putting it on a network drive somewhere, versus, old-fashioned binders on a shelf.
Yeah.
So, we're also, utility rebates are starting to come in.
Yes.
So I think we're somewhere in the $25,000-ish range for utility rebates.
Excellent.
Everyone's chipping in, PICO, PP&L, and Med-Ed, so that's nice. That's nice to get that, primarily for the lighting
Yeah.
that was done.
That was easy
district-wide.
picking for, yeah, that was a good one.
Exactly. But we're also getting it for like frequency drives and things like that are also, saving money as well, so.
Frequency drives.
VFDs, basically it's a piece of equipment that allows pumps, motors to kind of modulate up and down.
Yep.
Normally, without it, it's on, off,
Okay.
constantly. This might be, 10%, and it senses demand, so it goes up to 80, and then it comes back down to 20, and and that's much better for the equipment, it's less energy consumed.
We have a couple of them at work too.
Yeah,
It's
one of the
it's
projects
really
we're
good.
doing is putting them on the booster pumps at Marlborough for the domestic water system, because if you're in the boiler room, it's constant pump on, off, just on, off all the time, and those pumps don't like that, they want to run.
Right,
So that should be a big help.
good. Anything else exciting?
No,
Okay.
unless anyone has any questions.
No? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the exciting sidewalk project.
Yeah.
Nobody wants
Yeah,
to do.
some not good news on this particular agenda item. I've had 3 quotes in hand so far, and all of them are above the bid threshold. One came in, the lowest one that I received was $34,000 or so, on up to $49,000. I think all 3 of them call for 100% wholesale replacement of the concrete in the entire run, and I keep going back to them saying, well, have you considered slab jacking or mud jacking the slabs that are intact, that have just sunken near the curb line? And most of them, they've all come back and said, well, we don't do that. Oh, okay, well, we don't want to pay for what you do.
True.
So I'm continuing to work with them, but we may have to, if we have to go the public bid route, we're gonna have to file for an extension.
And that's a shame too, because
Pay
Red Hill,
$75.
I've had some of my own experience with sidewalks in Red Hill, and they're really easy to get along with when it comes to jacking them up and fixing some
Yeah.
instead of replacing them all.
We did that work out here along the driveway, and it seemed it's fine.
Yeah, it should be a viable option.
It
It
is,
should be,
yeah.
it should be. I went back to one company that we used on Main Street,
Yes.
and he did the same thing. They just looked at the drawing from the borough and said, 2,300 square feet, and they did their math, and I said, did you look at it?
Yeah. Could you
No,
really-
they hadn't. So I asked them, I said, could you get a mud jacking or a slab jacking sub? And then you do the replacements, they do the mud jacking, and So he was gonna look at that. I'm hoping, I don't know that it's gonna drop it $12,000, but, and then if we have to go the public bid route, my thought was just, and I don't know if this is a conflict of interest or not, but to go to Barry Isaac because they could probably get something done for us quick. But they're
Yeah.
also Red Hills engineer and
Oh, that's
codes
right.
official.
Well, it's
So-
hard when you're a little area, because they're
Yeah,
all
exactly.
connected
So I
somewhere.
don't,
The attorney
we'll
is
have to think
the.
about that a little bit, but.
Yeah, okay.
um,
Ugh.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, you know, prevailing wage and it's
Yeah.
gonna increase
Jack
our
up the
costs.
price, yep.
Yeah.
Would you be able to cut that down into like two separate projects, which, yeah,
No,
Must be done as a
no,
whole,
that's,
subparts
yeah,
of it.
it's really frowned upon.
I expected that answer, I had to
Yeah.
ask that.
Yep.
The only,
They,
so I think the only questionable part to me would be if you have one company who's able to pour new slabs, and you have another, and who won't do mud jacking,
Mhm.
and you've got a mud jacking company who
Yeah,
will
that's-
do
Right,
pouring new slabs.
Kind of what I was
Is it
thinking.
Yeah, but
something-
does it
you know,
still count as
it's
one
still-
project, though?
It's still one
Yeah.
project, I
yeah,
mean.
you have
it's-
to aggregate the two together, and
Yeah.
it's over the bid threshold, and, yeah.
Yeah,
And it doesn't help us if the bid threshold is 21.9 or whatever it is now,
it's not
well,
too big,
you can't
it's not
do-
very
You can't
big.
do much for that,
Yes,
but, so we'll keep working on that.
okay. All right, so how are we doing with the middle school basin stabilization project?
I actually, just today, I reviewed a draft of the drawing for the basin stabilization and the specifications, a few minor things that I recall scheduled with them tomorrow. So we're close on that bid package being ready to go. I also went back to them and said, look, I don't want to do these in series. You know, can we work on them in parallel? So it's not, well, we finished the middle school, now we have to start from scratch on the softball field. And they agreed, they said, yeah, let's, so they're starting to work on the softball field
Okay.
design as well.
Okay, good.
We actually had something from them
Yes.
previously, and then it stalled because of the permitting issue.
Is that the only thing left then for the MPDES, is the drainage, the basin?
The drainage, well, they're gonna come back out and, you know, do
And
the-
see if there's
throw-
anything else they
Throw
don't
the hula
like.
hoops around to see that we have adequate grass coverage. And I was on the site a couple days ago, and there's things we have to fix from plowing.
Oh, okay.
And then, you know, dead trees, and we have to make sure that we clean out the basins along Montgomery Avenue before they get here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, those were, you know,
Couple more
trash,
years, we ought to be
trash
done.
and some of the, they paid a lot of attention to the path that goes from the middle school to the high school softball field in that area, so we'll concentrate in there, but.
Yeah, because we use it so often, I'm sure.
Well, actually, I think a lot of the parents have started parking there for softball games, just because it's
Oh, okay.
much more accessible.
Yeah, true,
Yep.
true. All right,
So,
any questions?
you know,
on that?
hopefully we'll be out to bid with the basin stabilization. You'll probably advertise next week. And then we'll, you know, we'll get that going on pen bid.
Okay,
Continue to work on the softball field.
yes, okay. All right, how about our facilities feasibility survey, where are we
Yep.
at?
We went through another round of revisions within the last week. I'd say we're probably 90%. I'm hoping to get another round of revisions this week and then just, you know, call it a day and, you know, get the advertisement out and get that rolling as well.
Okay, good,
Dr. Roach was kind enough to review it, Dr. Farina. So we're,
You probably regretted that.
what's that?
You probably regretted that.
No.
I know Georgie did on a previous document. She's like, oh my gosh. I said, well, you asked me to do it again. I did.
Right.
I'm just gonna read it here.
Part of the problem, I was, you know, cutting and pasting from other.
Right.
And, you know, if it just doesn't paste well and you get weird character, but we've got all that fixed.
Yeah.
Good,
So we're very close on that as well.
okay. 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 All right, I don't see one doc here. I don't know what, I mean, facility naming request, so Dr. Persing, are we waiting? What do you guys want to do? Do you want to wait for,
I'm waiting to see what
Dr.
they bring
Ferris to
back and
come-
what their thoughts are of what we should post, how we should post it, and how it's going to be funded.
okay, that's where I thought we were. So.
Mhm.
You
I
agree?
agree with that, yes.
Okay, all right. So, George, any comments on that?
This is on facility naming request?
Yes.
Yeah, again, I just want to reiterate that Dr. Persing did quite a bit for us. He's a longest-serving superintendent, 19 years, and I just challenged Alan to be here 20.
Yeah,
He would be there.
we're good with that. We're good with that.
Superintendent, all of our elementary schools, middle school, and high school became blue ribbon schools.
Yep.
At that time, out of 15,000 school districts, only 15 in the nation had all their elementary, middle, and high schools recognized as blue ribbon schools. And he was very but I don't want to take away from his interest in academics, that was number one. But he was interested in wrestling also. He wrestled in high school and college. He was a wrestling official in District 11. He was the first District 11 wrestling official to officiate in the state tournament. You know, he coached at Allen High School and Deer High School. So I think that in some way, Dr. Persing deserves recognition.
Well, I don't think anybody's arguing that part of it. I think we're waiting for Dr. Ferris to come back with what's his actual plan.
John gets back this weekend from South Carolina.
Oh, okay, so we'll see.
I talk to him on the phone, I keep him abreast of what's going on.
Okay.
You know, I think Dr. Persing should be recognized in some manner.
Yep, I know, it's the some manner that we were trying to work on. And that's what Doc was supposed to be, coming back with us. What is he actually looking for, a plaque? Where do you want it? I think he said Marlboro Elementary.
I just mentioned the wrestling room because he has such an interest. We were
the
the first
wrestling room,
school in the area to have those big wrestling lights that come down on the mat.
Yep.
They
Yeah, that's
make
cool.
it dark. And Dr. Persing paid for all those himself. The school district didn't pay for those. He bought those for the school.
Yeah, that's awesome to go watch. Stephen wrestled, and I loved watching that. It's
So
fun.
I just wanted to keep it, I just thought if they're going to do a wrestling, they open up in December. The appropriate time would be like the second week or first week in December when the season opens up probably.
Okay, well, we still want to know, what, does he want a plaque?
But,
Who's
you know,
paying for it? Because the district's not going to do that.
you know,
That kind of thing.
Thank
So
you.
we'll talk to him about it. We'll
Thank
talk
you.
to Doc. Every time I see him out in public, he always asks me about it, so. Okay, so we'll table that for now. New business, Walt Graber Lane easement and maintenance agreement. Another fun topic.
Yes, did you want to take
Sure, I
this
can
one?
take that. I mean, I think the board is aware of the plans that we actually come out of facilities meeting probably prior to the pandemic, trying to work with the folks, so the document, they were certified mailed. We know 4 of the 5 families have signed off on and have received it.
Oh,
In terms of, no,
Oh,
not the
that they
document,
received
that they have
it.
it.
Scared me for a minute there.
That they have it. So I have no idea what the reaction, will be from that proposal to, partner officially for the stone every 2 years and have us cover spreading it and splitting it 50/50 and that type of arrangement that was there. My initial take on reading the easement agreement is I think there's going to be some caution about the first or second paragraph where it talks about access to the road. I think there's going to be an impression that we have all these plans of bringing people in and out and in and out. And that's not the impression. That's not the plan. The plan is simply just current access that we have. We don't own the property in the back. That's the county or whoever, but just having that access. So that'll be a conversation, and I think I shared with the board that we have a Zoom set up next Tuesday. We thought that would provide an opportunity for anyone that has questions, and then if not, we'll follow up to see if anybody wants to talk a little more about it. We try to have an introductory letter that explains what we're doing, that there's been some concerns raised on all these other areas, so we're trying to officially put it here and be good neighbors.
Right.
That's really, but we know that our solicitor wanted to have some liability coverage for everyone involved with that arrangement. So I think it's all on the positive in terms of we're reaching out, trying to officially make it. I think we should probably, from that facilities meeting back at the end of 19, literally my first week or so here, I got a bill that just said, here's this bill, you need to pay it.
I remember.
And I was said, what do you mean? And again, for me, it would have been as simple as if there was an email from Dr. McGloin, from Dr. Bonnekamper, from Dr. Pershing, that said, this is the agreement, I would have honored it and moved forward. Like, that would have been enough to have that, but we had a
But it was
handshake
the
of some
secret
sort.
handshake,
Yeah,
yeah.
whatever, again, and I wasn't gonna, it wasn't even the financial standpoint of it, it was more of like, if that's what's the agreement, then,
Let's get it down on
yeah, let's get it
paper.
on paper, so, and so it's taken a little while, COVID obviously stopped all that. And I think I think the rentals at the back turf brought it back up again. I mean, I've gotten, we had Kyle's firm working on it. It was just kind of sitting in my inbox, and then we ran over it, made a couple tweaks, found a typo or two. You found a typo in the second version? So that's good, that's what you do. But, you know, so it's in process, hopefully we'll see, and then once we hear back, we may have to, we don't need 100% according to Kyle, you know, we have a majority or that type of thing to move forward with that and work with the folks there, so I'm hoping it's well received, and
When you
again,
say you don't, if you don't have 100%.
he said it doesn't have to be 100%.
Of the residents.
Of the residents there,
So if you
yeah.
had 5 out of 6.
Yeah,
4 and
exactly.
6.
I think, again, I will work with Kyle on that piece to it. It's a weird, you know, they call it a private lane, but it's really a paper road. It's not that middle ground,
Yes.
which is why we had legal take a look at it.
Yep,
Yes.
you
makes
know.
sense.
So,
Yep.
yep, so I think it's positive you saw it. I think it's a good step forward to putting that to rest.
Well, one nice thing is that one of those residents is an attorney, so.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Yep, she's
That
a
is
nice
true.
lady too.
Yep, yep, yep.
So
And-
let's
and I
hope that
think-
helps.
And hopefully, if she's the one reading it, she'll see it. If there's other legal things, again, we'll be available for that Zoom
Okay,
with
good.
just the 5 families that was in there, and we'll see how it goes next week.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, good.
And if we've got to go back and tweak and go from there, we'll keep working on it.
Yeah, that
But
works.
we're working on it.
Okay, all right.
So,
Well, thank you, I appreciate you doing that.
Yep,
It is nice to have things on paper
yeah,
so that there's no question
yeah,
at another time,
agreed,
or at least less questions.
yeah.
Okay, well, we'll move on to the high school athletic field repairs.
So this spring, in preparation for our track and field season, we had an opportunity to do some inspections at the high school, particularly the track and the bleachers in Keeney Stadium. And as we expected, you know, we did find some issues, which is, you know, why we do these things. I'm just going to pass around a few pictures. We did get some repairs done to the track, you know, just in time, basically, because the season is upon us. We also had the bleachers in Keeney inspected as well, and we've got some repairs to make. Some strange issues with those bleachers. One of the bleachers, it looks like someone took a bite out of it. One of them, I can't even explain how some of these issues cropped up, but you can see. So I have a quote coming for basically just replacement,
That's
replacement
interesting.
bleachers, yeah, replacement bleachers. So,
Looks like they wanted to put a tube of some kind in there.
it does,
That
looks
looks
like a fence post or something was supposed to be in that slot.
And that appeared since last year, or? you
We just had it, yeah, we just found it, we just had it inspected by a third party. They actually had a lift out and they were up underneath the bleachers, looking at all the structural members and making sure everything was structurally sound. And yeah, those are the pictures.
Meteorite.
Meteorite, yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
Yep. Don't even want to venture that guess.
No. The other issue that's unfortunately kind of reared its ugly head is the Discus Cage essentially collapsed within the last couple of weeks. And they haven't been able to practice, and we're about a week away from needing it for competitions.
Oh,
What, couple issues, they basically 6 holes with concrete and PVC sleeves that accepted poles that came up like this at an angle, and then a net to make, you know, the discus throws safe for spectators and athletes. A couple of the PVC sleeves were cracked. One of the poles actually broke. Long story short is we're working hard right now to try to get this thing back in good repair.
operation.
Mr. Kurzweg ordered replacement sleeves, which have come in. We've removed all the existing concrete and all the existing sleeves. The pole that was broken, we took up to Jacob Schmidt. They put like a reinforcing tube inside the pole and then did some welding work for us. So as of today, all of the holes are prepared. Tomorrow's, we're looking at doing some concrete and setting
Couldn't do
the...
the concrete today?
Yeah, really.
Well, I'm a little worried about tomorrow, too.
Was the snow in the way? Yeah, the snow was in the way.
So all things go well, we're hoping by the end of the week, we can reassemble this thing, and it would be, I think, the 5th is a middle school track event, and then, high school track starts using it later in next week, but that would not have, I don't know what we've done if we couldn't offer that particular event.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Thank you
so-
for getting on it.
Yeah, we had to rent because the concrete has to be 38 inches in the ground, and the holes are 15 to 18 inches wide, so we ran up here to JD Equipment and got the post hole digger. And they were working on that today in the snow. A couple times they called me, we can't see. I'm like, keep working.
Don't stop it. You can warm up later.
That's right. Yeah, so I'm optimistic that we'll be in good shape by the end of the week. We did purchase a replacement net as well, so.
Okay, is that something we need to take in, or, like the plastic poles, like that, I'm assuming they go over the posts? I don't know.
Well, the concrete and the
Even the
sleeves
discs, but I
stay,
never
the
thought of
poles slide in, yes, so I would recommend pulling the poles out and the net
And
out
taking them
and
in.
taking it in.
Probably a really good
For the
idea.
winter, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Winter eyes, I will call that winter.
Yes, exactly, so that's the
Okay,
current project.
okay. All right, I guess we're up to custodial staffing, yet another sore bus driver
Yeah.
subject.
Right, I don't mean to end on a
It's okay.
sour note, but
It's all good.
we're struggling with our custodial staffing. Just last week, I got, one resignation letter and one retirement letter, both of them at 4-5.
Of course.
The month prior, we lost a full-time custodian at the middle school. And, normally, you expect some level of turnover, but in this situation, we can't find any replacements. I don't think I received one application in the last 8 months or so, and that person just, went AWOL. I can't find them. I've been emailing and calling, and they've just been non-responsive. So I'm
I think
thinking
a lot of that is people that are told they have to,
unemployment.
they have
Yeah.
to apply
Yep.
to jobs.
Right.
They
Yeah, we
apply
get
and show,
some
to
of
get the email that says that they've applied.
Right, so I'm concerned because I have some head custodians that are working into the 50 hours a week, and last week I actually had one tip over 60 hours for the week. Which is a, concern not only for overtime, but, just their general well-being. And we've been trying to come up with various, I talked to Jen Malone about bus drivers, hey, you're done your run by 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
Here's some time.
Right, come on over to the school district, and, because it'd be two different employers at that point, and you could,
Oh, that's right.
you could be a custodian for 3 or 4 hours, but
Oh,
no
boy.
interest there. Talking to the security guards, because they're already on site and their, commuting expenses are already sunk.
Right.
So if, you can make a little bit more money and not have to commute since you're already on site, that really didn't go anywhere. I'm starting to pursue with the high school, trying to drum up some interest with students. We don't have a single student that works for us during the school year, which, I get it, but we do get some over the summer. But you would think 2 or 3 hours in, an evening, or if we get 2 students and they can job share one position, at this point, I'd take just about
Everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody
exactly.
and everybody.
So we're short. We're meeting this week at 4-5 to come up with a schedule that I don't think everyone's going to like. But, we'll certainly be able to concentrate on the restrooms and the trash and the nurses' suites and the locker rooms, places that need to be cleaned, for...
Constantly.
Constantly for, sanitation reasons and every night. But some of the, the larger spaces, the auditoriums, the gyms, the libraries may only be once or twice a week. And the classrooms, the schedule that I worked up was only twice a week for classrooms. It's not what I want to do, but, we just don't have
The personnel,
the
yeah.
bandwidth and the hours to continue to clean like we want to, or we're used to be able to.
Yeah.
I
Do you
know
think part of
Mrs.
the problem is how much we're paying also compared to the other districts?
Well, and
We've gone through that.
yes, and Mrs. Fisher and I have had this conversation. I think some of the, we're competing against the Blommer chocolates and the Walmarts. I was on Indeed the other day and I saw our ad. And then I saw, industrial custodian at Blommer chocolate, $19 to $21 an hour.
It's also like 120 degrees.
Well, yeah, exactly.
It does smell better though.
No, it doesn't after.
Most of the time. Yeah, now there's a fire.
Yeah,
I woke out at
exactly.
4 or 5 today, it smelled great.
Yeah, I smelled it this morning.
Wait
when I
until they
went to
burn
work.
it once.
Yep, you're gonna be like, ooh.
So, to me, there's two issues. One's, retaining the folks that we have. We have, they're all good people. They've been trained. We have a significant investment in them. I want to retain those folks, and then recruitment is the second issue.
What are we offering as far as pay goes?
Starting is $12.50, which is, they struggle because particularly when you take, 8% now for Peasers, I think. Their take home is not a lot.
Not enough.
Not a lot.
And it's custodial, it's paraprofessionals,
Right, it's
and
food
it's food
service.
service. Those are the
Yeah.
three that,
Yep.
as Keith mentioned there, that may be something that I know we've talked about internally with HR to, if maybe go back to negotiations and or have a conversation. Those are the three areas that, am I missing any area of?
No, I think those
I
are
think
the,
those are the big ones, yeah.
Three and bus drivers, so but that's
Right,
not.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not, right.
Right.
Doug, how many staff are you down roughly?
Glad you asked, I was just looking at that.
4.
I'm down a full-time person at the high school, 2 full-timers at the middle school, 1 full-timer at 4-5 with a retirement, a second person going to be down at 4-5, he's retiring June 15th. And 3 or 4 part-timers on top of those full-timers.
To come, June 16th, or we'll go.
Right, June
going into next
16th,
year,
I'm
you're-
down 5 full-time
And
positions.
three part-times.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4, but yeah.
Okay.
And some of it's problematic because, for example, this gentleman that resigned at 4-5, he was part of a 2-man team that worked until 11:30 at night. So now,
You can't just have one person.
yeah, now I'm gonna have one person there which I don't really wanna do, and if I slide someone over, now I've got a hole to fill at the high school. So it's getting a little hairy. Yeah.
So can the board go undercover at other districts and sort of poach them, or
I think it's,
whatever we can try? We'll
Yeah.
think about that. Think about that.
Well, the problem is the other districts are paying much more than we are. We
Yeah.
discovered that last year when we were doing all of the.
There was an adjustment made.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a,
yeah, when I started, it was 11.90, I think, and we
Yeah.
brought them up to 12.50.
Mhm.
And then we raised we had a head custodian vacancy, and we couldn't
Yep.
attract anyone, and we brought that group up to 17. But,
All right, we'll have to think about that. See
yeah, I
if
know
we can't come up with
Mrs.
something.
Fisher
There's
is
money trees.
potentially, going to talk to the
I've got a
board
couple
about
seedlings growing in.
pay
my office.
rates and,
Yeah.
and maybe it's time to think, out of, signing bonus, there's all these techniques that people use to attract people, but finder's fees, bring someone to the district, and if they stay 6 months, you get $150, whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, something.
Something.
I don't know how
Alright.
that plays with, because I've definitely heard all of that, how that plays with public money. I know
Oh, yeah,
people
true.
have used ESSER money for certain things,
Right.
but.
Yeah, that's
I don't
one of the
know- I don't know
things
how
is
that-
to retain and,
Right. Yeah.
oh boy.
And the contracting, the temporary staffing agencies are struggling
They
as well.
can't get 'em either, yeah.
And the conversations that I've had with them, they've asked me, if we go with XYZ company, are we going to stop recruiting? Because if we don't stop recruiting, then we're competing for the same people, because they're just gonna place an ad in the Town and Country or the Pottstown Mercury or something. looking for custodians for Upper Perkiomen School District.
Right.
As we are.
And then we're paying extra because we have to pay them too.
Right.
Firm. Oh, boy.
You know, the one thought I had was, and no one wants to go this way, is, you know, the contracted route for a school, just
Well,
one.
I was just
And
actually
then
gonna start going down
Take
that road.
those,
I'm
take
coming up
those
to
folks
discuss
to
it.
backfill the other positions that we, so, you know.
Well, I
School
mean,
A is contracted out, those people then get reassigned to the other 5 locations to backfill those openings and go that way. That would be more expensive.
Yeah, and then you have to train all
Well,
those
in the long
in one
run,
school
though,
full.
There's savings there in the long run.
but in the long
Yes.
run, couldn't it be cost effective if we did some type of hybrid program like that? Because you're not losing the 8%, which allows you to pay that contract person a bit more. You know, if
Yeah,
we could figure that out and see what it
Right.
would take, you know, and if we have to, I don't know if we could do a couple of contracted people, like, you know, you said you need 1 at the high school, 2 at the middle school, 2 at the 4 or 5, if we could even just do 2 at the 2 twos at the middle school and the 4 or 5 as contracted help, and then try and hire full-time for the others, or the 3 part-times, even hire the 3 part-times contracted.
yeah.
You know, I don't know whether we could
Yeah,
put
that's what you-
some contracted people in there with our regular people or not. That way you've got some oversight.
Well, he said they'll be recruiting for the same people we are.
Yeah,
That's the
but,
problem.
Right.
Because it's not like you're gonna get somebody traveling really far to work a few hours
No.
a day.
yeah,
I
but you
think
might
at
actually, they might actually be able to fill those contracted positions.
Right, because there's really, the way I look at it, there's 2, you know, if you're looking for straight hourly rate, you know, the highest you can get, you would go with, you know, the contracted agency.
Right.
If you're looking for, you know, like our benefit, you know, they're not getting the benefits package
Right,
that we offer.
sure.
So if you're a second earner in your family and you need the benefits to carry your family and you could work for a lower wage, then, you know, I would think
Then
they
it's
would be
well worth
attracted
it.
to the district directly. But I'm open to suggestions. I think, Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, at the 1250 rate, fully loaded, it's 17?
Roughly, yeah. I think
Yeah.
17,
It
so.
might be just shy,
Okay.
but yeah, it's right there.
So if, you know, if we're gonna pay a temp agency 22 or 24, or
Right.
whatever that is, you know, that's,
Doug, I know we were talking about, you know, high school students potentially being, you know, potential candidate or, you know, employees on some of that on that front. If in a part-time capacity, then they're not gonna hit the hours required for piecers. And so you could potentially, you know, be more competitive with, you know, Turkey Hill and Dunkin' Donuts and stuff like that, instead of being at that 1250, since you're not talking about withholding piecers and it's not an additional cost to the district.
Right.
That rate could reflect some, you know, some of that savings and could be, you know, basically provided back to those particular employees that aren't going to get the 500 hours that would put them into piecers eligible time. I mean, it's just, we're kind of talking through this as we, you know, as we go and trying to think through the best scenarios. It's just a tough thing to.
Have we pushed the student thing 3-4 hours after school?
we tried about a year ago, you know, we had an ad on UPTV, and I think we even did an email to the, you know, they have class emails. We tried that.
Okay.
And as recently as last week, I was in the guidance office talking to that group about it, you know, and they, well, you can post something here, you can put, I'm like, well, that's not really.
Yeah.
Right.
I need something a little more
You need a piece of
aggressive.
paper on the wall.
Right.
Yeah,
More targeted.
Bulletin board was
Yeah,
was a tough
that's
sell.
not gonna work, yeah.
Exactly. Because there's, you know,
If you give me a copy, I'll put it in Weiss and.
15.
Yeah, there you go.
15 different companies looking for.
Everybody and the
employees.
grandmother is looking for
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
Pretty soon we'll be down to kindergartners. Can you stay for an extra hour?
Right. Yo, where this backpack?
Or extend your nap time.
Yeah, right, well, you're not doing anything. Yeah, right. Oh, boy.
But, you know, I just,
Something's
it's a little bit of a head scratch, you know, you would think if you've got a junior or a senior that lives in Hereford, they're home by 3:30,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, come over from 4 to 6 or 4 to 7, and, you know, we'll pay you $12, $13 an hour, which is.
Maybe we make the push to get summer help. And that would, maybe you get some
Say, oh, you can start now.
Juniors, yeah, sophomores and juniors hooked in, I don't know what the age is, but I think that's around the age that you can work in summer work.
Right.
Because with the lack of folks you have there, you're gonna, the summer, just even summer cleaning is gonna be a challenge,
It
no
is,
doubt.
it is.
And
And I
maybe
think
it
the-
hooks them into some flexible, three
Right.
nights a week at 3-4 hours,
Mhm.
you know.
I know I have a couple college kids that are interested, so, that could be some relief mid-May, because I'll grab them as soon as they're done school. I don't have to wait till school's
As long as
out.
they're not the two I have.
Right.
They're mine.
Do they want to do part-time
No.
custodial work?
Doug, you have to
So-
find out what titanium's paying.
Yeah, we're 15, sorry. And bonuses. Oh, I didn't say that out loud.
Oh, Nice.
All right, we'll keep working.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep working on
Keep
it.
thinking about who we can.
Every
help
meeting
them.
seems to sound with this ending with this, here's where we're needed.
We'll keep working on it, yeah.
We had that last meeting too.
Budget's gonna be 100 million by the time we're done this year.
But we wanted to be as transparent as we can.
No, I know,
That's what
I know.
it's about.
I know, I agree.
Yep.
All right, anyone have anything else you want to talk about? You good to go?
Well, no, wait,
Go ahead.
when the baseball and softball club came last month, they talked about doing work over there at the fields
Yes.
and everything. How did that work out?
It worked out okay. I think they only came out one weekend or one Saturday. And I had some correspondence with them after the meeting, and I told them, I said, I'll purchase the supplies. The school district should be supplying everything.
Right.
The infield mix and the screenings for the outfield and paint. And then I said, what I need your group for is the labor. So I think, at least we have each other's contact information now, so it's, once the weather breaks and we can, so we're getting those types of material in, and then I can
Okay.
just reach out.
There were several items on that list that you already had in the pipeline.
Yes.
The rolling and the this, and
Yeah.
those were already there.
And we
Not that
actually-
they would know that,
Right.
but that, and there were some things that, I don't know if you knew that was, I didn't know, but you put better, the holes in the outfield fence or something like that. I mean, again, there was things that there was a comprehensive piece, so.
Mhm.
They were very thoughtful about it. I mean,
Yeah,
they really
yeah, they
were.
were.
They really were.
Yeah.
So do we know what they did? Like what work's been done then? That day, the day they were there?
The two items that I know for sure they did was painting of the dugouts
Nice.
and weeding of the warning track on the baseball field.
On the baseball field.
Oh, and they also moved, how you have the bleachers behind home plate, they pulled those back and did some weeding underneath those as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Part of the
Make sure
challenge, I
that
think,
they-
when they were here was that Doug and Bobby didn't even know what was happening. I think that's a communication issue. It was kind of like, what, they're coming onto the field, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a concern. Not to say, no, don't, but it was definitely a concern, I think, from not even being aware that was happening.
Well, I hate to say it, but if we had something happen to them, like what happened to our kid at the new middle school on Friday.
Right.
God forbid somebody gets injured and we don't know anything about it beforehand,
Right.
so.
Yeah, they did eventually fill out the proper paperwork, so I have that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make sure I mention, thank you for that. All right, anything else? Okay. Call for a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Including our public. Our public. Hey, we got two people, that's.
Dana had a full house for extra credit.
Yeah, great.
I saw